Hello, Tim here, MotorMouth, whatever you want to call me. Haven't been on in a while. Decided to come on. I want to talk about anything, everything, nothing, everything, anything. Been a lot going on in my country, United States. A lot of hate being poured out all over the place again. Seems like our favorite pastime is attacking each other instead of helping each other. I know I sound ridiculous and I sound naive, but we spend so much time attacking each other. We don't spend any time thinking about each other. I don't see that. Might be missing it, but that's not what I see. All I see is stuff on the news about negative. Everything's negative. Oh, my nose. No, it's always attacking this, attacking that, attacking this. Yes, the president, but there's other things. This Covington schoolboys thing. I've watched some of the videos, as many as I could, and it's been blown so out of proportion. As far as I tell, my opinion, it's just way too much. The press is wrong, the way they're doing it, the way they're treating it. And they've created a storm, and now they're sitting back and just watching, and everybody else is doing all the work that they created. Yes, they created. The press's job, excuse me, and I've said this before, the press's job is not to support one side or the other. The press's job is to keep both sides in line. Right now, they should be yelling at Congress and the Senate to get a budget and get their head out of their butts and start doing their job. But they're not doing that. They're joining one group or the other group. That's not their job to join a group. Their job is to jump on people that aren't doing their job. And Congress is not doing their job. The Speaker of the House is not doing her job for the country. She's doing her job for herself, but not for the whole country. And it makes us in the United States look like idiots to the rest of the world. I mean, why would any foreign country have to try to get involved in our elections when we blow it ourselves? We, the people of the United States, allow this crap to happen because we do not hold the people in Washington accountable for what they're supposed to do. Why are we not screaming at both sides, not just one, both sides to sit down and get this solved? Border wall or not. I think we should have a barrier. I think it should be a 40-foot high fence. Doesn't have to be a cement barrier. It doesn't have to be a metal barrier. They can make a 40-foot high fence out of, you could use the type of steel they use for to control our harbors, submarine nets. You'd have a hard time cutting through a submarine net. Use that type of material and put a 40-foot high fence. Little slack in it, a little hard to climb a fence that's wobbly. 10 feet down and have that fence embedded in 10 feet of concrete. You can't dig under. And if it's at a river, you put it on the river. You don't put it away from the river. You put it on the river. Somebody wants to do anything, you got to stand in the water to do it. You make it hard for people to come in. You're not going to stop everybody. I know that. But climbing 40 feet in the air with something on your back or something, you're carrying something, you're not going to do. Where there's mountains they climb through, put posts. Manned. 24 hours a day. You got electronics you can use. You got drones you can use. You can use sensors. If that gate is touched, that fence is touched, sensor goes off, and an alert team goes and checks it out. That's a simple one. And how long would it take to bring us to run a fence? Even 1,500-mile fence wouldn't take that much time at all. And visualize trying to climb 40 feet in the air. Straight up. Hard to do. Plus, you have it shiny, so it can be seen. Reflective. Light hits it, it reflects. That could control the influx. May not eliminate, but it can control of illegals. If people want to come into this country and make a life for themselves as citizens of this country, more power to them. I'm 100% for that. But if you want to come into this country just so you can reap the benefits and not pay for it, no. We got people in this country that are busting their butts trying to survive day by day. Why should we be paying people to sit on their butts and not do anything? I'm not saying all. A lot of the migrant workers come across the border legally, do a lot of good work. I'm not sure about their pay. They probably get paid pretty good, not outstanding, but pretty good. But they make their money so they can go back home and survive for a year. And there's no problem with that. None whatsoever. The trafficking of children needs to stop. The trafficking of drugs needs to stop. And the only way you can stop it is to have a proper border wall, fencing, barrier, however you want to word it. Cost will be way low if you run a 40-foot high fence. And you can make it of steel that cannot cut through unless they have a blowtorch, a cutting torch. And if you're going to use a cutting torch, it's a little obvious that you're doing something wrong and you're going to get caught. There's a lot to it, but there's not a lot to it. Think of it as both ways. We're protecting ourselves, and hopefully we're protecting some children that are being brought in illegally. And you can bet there's a lot of them. Or they're being taken out illegally. That's a simple solution. I think it's simple. It sounds simple. I don't see a problem with it. And why would there be a problem with Congress to put up a barrier? The president wants a wall. Fine, Mr. President, use a 40-foot high fence. 40-foot high fence with a little bit of slack in the fencing. You tell me somebody that can climb that carrying something easily. And you put sensors on the fence. As soon as that fence is touched, it's alerted and people are sent to that location. 24-hour duty, people on duty, group of 6 or more that can be rushed to any location that alarm goes off. And no, they don't have to be military. That's what the guard patrol is for. Border patrol. Couple helicopters, helicopter in, land, take care of the issue. I'm not saying use guns, but you can take care of the issue. If they get fired at, you fire back. But you don't use weapons unless they're absolutely needed. That's a simple solution. Somebody see this, please, and tell me why that is not a simple solution to protecting our borders. You can run a fence all the way up the mountain if you want to slow down the influx of illegal aliens. Illegal. That's what people have to remember. We're not trying to stop people coming in that want to become citizens of this country or work in this country as migrant workers. We're trying to stop people that come into this country that don't want to earn the right to be here. And it is a right and a privilege to live in the United States and to be an American citizen. And it's a responsibility. It's our responsibility. It's our responsibility as citizens of this country to control the flux of the operation of the president and Congress. Every 4 years, we take care of the president, yes or no. Every 6 years, it's the Senate, which I don't agree with. 6 years, they get in there too long. I don't like term limits either. But I have an idea for that. But enough is enough. We don't do enough to help our country without hate. And there's no reason for it. Do we have problems in the country? No kidding. You tell me a country in the world that doesn't have problems. It'd be hard to find one. Every country in the world has problems. It's part of being a country. It's part of having freedom or no freedom. But it's the responsibility of the people of the country to run the country. Washington is there for us. The capital and the people in it are there for us. We're not there for them. We're not here for them. They're there for us. We put them there. And we wonder why we're $21 trillion or more in debt. Which there's no way, unless for the next 200 years, there's no way we'll ever get out of that debt. It's not possible. Personally, I think someone should just be written off. My opinion. But I have to look into that. But what we do and don't do is what makes this country. We've lost something. We the people. Not everybody. Majority. I would say majority. Pride. Pride in what we make and what we do is gone, in my opinion. I don't see when cars are being built or buildings are being built or anything American made, the pride would go into it. People would come from all over the world to buy an American made good. Or it was shipped to them because they knew that that good would last for decades. Not because they could buy it again as soon as it failed. They knew that they would buy something that could last a long time. That's where our pride went in. We put pride into what we built. Houses, buildings, everything. American pride went into that. I don't see that now. Now it's throw it out there, throw it out there. Let's just go out with quantity instead of quality. And I think that's what's killing us too. People, I have people tell me, why should we be proud of United? Why should we be proud of anything? You know, really? You should be proud of the country you live in. Because it's your country and you choose to live in it. Are there things that have gone wrong that's not exactly something to be proud of? Yes. Of course there has been. But to use that and dwell on it, to me, is childish. Well, this happened 200 years ago. Who cares? It happened 200 years ago. Learn from it. Don't dwell on it. Learn from the past so you don't repeat it in the future. Don't use it as a crutch. Don't use it as a large chip on your shoulder. Learn from it. Then move on. History is a tool of learning. It's not meant to be a tool of, well, let's only learn the bad stuff. Build this country. I'm not saying go back to the past. I'm saying let's look to the future. Look to the future. And looking to the future means we have to start working together and start believing in ourselves and the country as a whole. You can't tell me there's no reason for that. We've got people out there, congressmen, well, I'm never going to vote for a border wall. Never going to vote for a barrier. Why? Because one man that they do not like wants it. They don't care about the country. They don't care about what it's doing to us. He doesn't want it. He wants it. They don't like it. Period. How is that being a good representative or a good senator when you decide something out of hate? In my mind, no justifiable hate. There's no reason for it. None. We need to ignore the Congress and the Senate and work at it. I came on here because I'm hoping somebody will watch this. Maybe nobody will. But enough is enough. It's time we pull this country together. President Trump has tried. But there's so much hate in people's hearts. They're not going to ever let it happen. For no reason except they don't like him. I have not seen at this time any justifiable reason to treat him this way. To treat anybody this way. Any official or any human being in general should not be treated as shabbily. Until I see absolute proof of anything, which nothing's come up. And all it's doing is hurting us, the people, and the country. This got to stop. The press, I'm not going to even mention the names of everyone because both are wrong. They skew poison one way, they skew poison another. They keep going, we got to talk to this group. No, you don't talk to a certain group. You talk to everybody. And let us make the decision on whether we're going to be angry about something or not. Don't put it out to make us angry. Put it out so we understand the facts so we can be angry or not. It's been seen how the news is skewed one way or skewed the other. Think about what's best for the country and put out the facts and let us, the American people, make a decision on how we're supposed to feel. Don't tell us how to feel. Don't tell us, well, you have to think this way or this way. Wrong. It's our job to make that decision. It's your job to put the facts out there so we can understand them enough and make our own decisions. Both sides of the facts. Stop skewing stories one way or the other. Give us the facts. Both sides. Liberal, conservative, whatever you want to call them. Their job is not to be liberal or conservative. Their job is to be neutral. Their job is to print the facts about everything and let's start. Right now, they should be screaming and yelling about the government not being in operation like you're supposed to be. Not pointing fingers, not pointing fingers at one person. There's 500 something of one and 100 of the other. They're the ones we should be screaming at. They're the ones the fingers we point at saying, do your freaking jobs. Because you're not doing it. Government shutdown isn't the fault of one person. It's the fault of all people in Washington. I try to tell people positive, negative. Positive, you want to overshadow negative. Right now, this is positive, this is negative. This is negative up here in Washington. It's doing this on the positive. And the positive is falling down because there is no way people are going to let the positive win because we're too busy being nothing. It's time for the positive to take over and control the negative. They have to work together. It's the only way we can get anything solved in the United States, in Congress and in Washington, is to work together for one common goal. And that common goal is simple: the United States of America. That's Congress's job. That's the Senate's job. It's not their job to play politics when they're in Washington. It's their job to do what's best for the country. If they had to go against their party, then they should go against their party because their party is not the country of the United States. And it's our job as citizens to start telling those people to get to work. And it's the job of the press to back that up. I would love to see the press all jump together one time and tell people in Washington, D.C., start doing your job. Fund a barrier. 44 high fence. Fund it. The money's there. It's been allocated more than once. It was voted on 10 years ago. Approval. Get it done. Do what's best for the country, not for your egos. That's all I have. My name is Timothy Edward Daniels. Stay strong, stay safe, stay happy, stay positive. Always keep smiling. There we go. Sorry.